Before the arrival of European ships, a different world existed. This land, now called America, teemed with life. It was a place of immense natural beauty, where the air was pure and the rivers ran clear. The forests were dense and filled with a myriad of creatures, each playing a role in the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Native civilizations thrived, their stories woven into the fabric of the land. These communities were rich in culture and tradition, with each tribe having its own unique customs and ways of life. They built intricate settlements and lived in harmony with the world around them. These were not savage tribes, as history often paints them. They were sophisticated societies, with complex social structures and deep spiritual beliefs. Their leaders were wise and their people skilled in various crafts and trades. They were architects of great cities, farmers, astronomers, and artists. Their knowledge of agriculture was advanced, allowing them to cultivate the land sustainably. They studied the stars and developed calendars that were remarkably accurate. They lived in harmony with nature, their lives governed by respect for the earth and each other. Their communities were tight-knit, and they placed great importance on family and community bonds. They understood the importance of preserving the environment for future generations. But their world, a tapestry woven over millennia, would soon be ripped apart. The arrival of Europeans brought with it a storm of change, one that would forever alter the landscape and the lives of the indigenous people. The arrival of Europeans marked a turning point. What began as a series of encounters and exchanges quickly escalated into something far more sinister. The newcomers brought with them not only new goods and technologies but also diseases and a hunger for land and resources. What began as exploration quickly morphed into conquest. The Europeans, driven by a sense of superiority and entitlement, began to seize land and resources, often through violent means. The indigenous people found themselves under siege, their way of life threatened. Promises were broken, treaties torn, and lands seized. The agreements made in good faith by the indigenous leaders were often disregarded by the Europeans, leading to widespread displacement and suffering. The indigenous people, facing unimaginable cruelty and disease, fought back with unwavering courage. They resisted the invaders with all their might, but the odds were heavily stacked against them. The diseases brought by the Europeans decimated their populations, further weakening their ability to resist. Their stories, often silenced or forgotten, are tales of resilience, of loss, and of the enduring strength of the human spirit. Despite the immense challenges they faced, the indigenous people never gave up. They continued to fight for their land, their culture, and their way of life, and of the enduring strength of the human spirit. The legacy of these brave individuals lives on in the stories passed down through generations. Their resilience and determination serve as a testament to the strength of the human spirit. This is their story, a story that must be told. It is a story of a people who, despite facing overwhelming odds, managed to preserve their identity and culture. It is a story that reminds us of the importance of remembering and honoring the past. Across the vast expanse of North America, diverse indigenous societies flourished. In the Southwest, the Pueblo people built impressive adobe cities, their lives intricately connected to the cycles of the sun and rain. Theirs was a world of intricate pottery, turquoise mosaics, and ceremonies that honored the spirits of the earth. Further east, the Mississippian cultures constructed massive earthen mounds, testaments to their sophisticated understanding of engineering and astronomy. Their societies, governed by complex religious beliefs, thrived on agriculture and trade. Along the Atlantic coast, Algonquin-speaking tribes navigated the waterways in sleek canoes. They were skilled hunters, fishermen, and farmers, their lives deeply intertwined with the rhythms of the forest. The arrival of Europeans shattered the tranquility of this ancient world. Driven by greed and a sense of superiority, they claimed the land as their own. Treaties, often signed under duress, were quickly broken. Indigenous people were driven from their ancestral lands, forced onto reservations, patches of land deemed undesirable by the colonizers. Disease, carried by the newcomers, ripped through villages and communities. Smallpox, measles, and influenza decimated populations, leaving behind a trail of unimaginable suffering. Traditional ways of life, passed down through generations, were disrupted and ultimately destroyed. Despite the overwhelming odds, indigenous people refused to surrender their freedom and their way of life. From the Great Plains to the eastern woodlands, acts of resistance flared up, igniting hope. Warriors armed with traditional weapons defended their homelands with bravery and skill, never backing down. Leaders like Metacomet, also known as King Philip, united tribes in a desperate struggle for survival and freedom. Women played critical roles too in this ongoing battle. They acted as spies, healers, and strategists, their contributions essential to the resistance efforts and overall survival. Every victory, however small, served as a testament to the enduring spirit of a people determined to protect their way of life and heritage.
Breaking news.
Section 5. The Trail of Tears. A journey of loss and resilience. One of the most heart-wrenching chapters in this tragic saga is the Trail of Tears. This forced relocation of the Cherokee people is a dark stain on American history, a period marked by immense suffering and loss. The journey was not just a physical one, but an emotional and spiritual ordeal that tested the resilience of an entire nation. In the 1830s, the Cherokee Nation, despite having assimilated many aspects of European culture, was forcibly removed from their ancestral lands in the southeast. They had built schools, adopted a written constitution, and even dressed in European-style clothing, yet none of this could save them from the greed and expansionist policies of the U.S. government. Driven by the insatiable hunger for land and gold, the U.S. government enacted the Indian Removal Act. This legislation, signed by President Andrew Jackson, gave the government the authority to negotiate removal treaties, which ultimately led to the forced displacement of thousands of Native Americans. Thousands of Cherokee men, women, and children were forced to march westward, their journey marked by disease, starvation, and death. The conditions were harsh, with inadequate supplies and brutal weather adding to their misery. Many did not survive the journey, and those who did were left with deep scars that would last generations. The Trail of Tears stands as a stark reminder of the brutality inflicted upon Indigenous people in the name of progress. It is a testament to the lengths to which the government would go to fulfill its expansionist dreams, regardless of the human cost. Yet, even in the face of such adversity, the Cherokee spirit remained unbroken. Their resilience and unity during this dark period are a powerful testament to their strength and determination. The legacy of the Trail of Tears is not just one of suffering, but also of the enduring spirit of the Cherokee people. Section 6. Unmarked Graves, Unforgotten Spirits. Across America, the land is scarred with the unmarked graves of Indigenous people. Each grave represents a life lost, a culture disrupted, a story silenced. For centuries, these stories have been ignored, buried beneath layers of historical amnesia. But the truth, like a whisper on the wind, refuses to be silenced. The legacy of colonization continues to cast a long shadow on the lives of Indigenous communities today. Poverty, discrimination, and the loss of cultural identity are ongoing struggles. However, amidst these challenges, there are also inspiring stories of resilience, revitalization, and the fight to reclaim their heritage. Section 7. Echoes of the Past, Lessons for the Present. The story of America's Indigenous people is not just a tale of the past, it is a living narrative that continues to shape our present and future. Their rich cultures, traditions, and wisdom have endured through centuries of adversity. It is a stark reminder of the dangers of greed, prejudice, and the arrogance of power. The colonization of their lands brought immense suffering and loss, but also stories of incredible resilience and strength. It is a call to confront the uncomfortable truths of history, to face the injustices that were committed, and to understand the impact these events have had on generations of Indigenous people. We must acknowledge the suffering inflicted upon those who were here first. Their stories of pain and perseverance are a testament to their enduring spirit. By understanding the past, we can begin to heal the wounds of the present. Reconciliation is not just about acknowledging past wrongs, but also about building a future based on mutual respect and understanding. We can learn from the mistakes of our forefathers, ensuring that history does not repeat itself. Education and awareness are key to fostering a society that values diversity and inclusivity, and strive to create a more just and equitable future for all. This involves active efforts to dismantle systemic inequalities and to promote social justice for Indigenous communities and beyond. It is time to listen to the voices of Indigenous communities, to respect their sovereignty, and to support their right to self-determination. We must honor their resilience, celebrate their cultures, and work together to ensure a future where their contributions are recognized and valued. Section 8. Honoring the legacy, keeping the memory alive. Remembering the forgotten heroes of America's past is not just a matter of historical accuracy, it is a moral imperative. It is about honoring the strength and resilience of those who endured unimaginable hardship. It is about acknowledging their contributions to the fabric of this nation. Let us remember their stories, not just with sadness, but with a commitment to learn, to heal, and to build a future where all people are treated with dignity and respect. Let us honor their legacy by fighting for justice, equality, and the preservation of indigenous cultures. The land we stand on whispers their stories. It is our duty to listen.